There is growing outrage in Eastern Cape following reports of the alleged coronation of a Nigerian chief on local soil, an incident that has sparked concern among traditional leaders and cultural stakeholders. The royal house of Abathembu has firmly distanced itself from the event, emphasizing that it neither sanctioned nor recognizes the legitimacy of the ceremony.
Thank you very much for your time. I'd like to start with this question, whether King Kaya of Abathembu Nation either participated or even endorsed this event, which apparently was front and center of the social media networks.
A very good evening to you, Collie, and your viewers. Quite frankly, he did not. All of these are a product of, I think, a smear campaign and misinformation in the light of what I call a conquest in 2026 by the Nigerian nationals or concerned individuals.
When you say this is a conquest by Nigerian nationals who live in South Africa, what are you referring to, or what exactly is at play here?
Let us be clear that South Africa, Eastern Cape Province, is not a colony of Nigeria. Now, what do I mean by that? An installation or a purported coronation of an individual as a king in an official foreign sovereign state is a behavior unbecoming. It's nonsense. In other words, what we have here, any sane country will reject what is happening or this conduct with contempt it deserves. It should not even be given dignity. How does an individual from the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria have a sense of origin or claim whatsoever in East London, which is the land of Amakakabe, within the jurisdiction of the Eastern Cape? So this information, we see it as part of a conquest by the said tribesmen in a foreign country. And in fact, it's an act of terror and nothing else.
Okay.
It's terrorism in the bigger scheme of things.
Yeah, those are very strong words. This matter has obviously caused disquiet, and it's quite interesting why people are paying attention to it, if, as the Royal Council of Abathembu calls it, is a mere peddling of fake news. I want for us to listen for a moment to the chairperson of Contralesa in the Eastern Cape province, Chief Mwelo Nongonyana. Let's have a listen to him very quickly, and we'll continue thereafter.
It has never happened that anyone calling himself or herself as a traditional leader can invade kingship of another without introducing himself or herself. He then hosts a ceremony. And that is why, therefore, we are outraged. And that is why, of course, even our people themselves are very, very angry as we speak. We had no choice but to take this matter up with our people. And we're very, very happy that even the houses of traditional and all traditional leaders, not only in the Eastern Cape, throughout South Africa, are actually supporting us because it seems that some Nigeria have taken us for a ride for quite some time.
All right, so that's Chief Mwelo Nongonyana. He is the chairperson of Contralesa in the Eastern Cape. Advocate Mphahlwa, let's then talk about Abathembu and the mission now, which you say is to approach the Nigerian consulate here in South Africa. What matters do you seek to clarify with them, to what end?
Thank you very much for that question. Where I've noted the comments by the president of Contralesa or the chairperson of Contralesa, but maybe where we differ as the kingdom is that I know they planned marches in East London. We don't believe that there should be any planned march concerning a foreign national who proclaims or claims to be a king or a chief, because the narrative has been shifting. What we are in fact doing, and what I've been engaged in the course of today, is to seek clarity from the Nigerian consul, which I have not been able to go through this evening. And I'm hoping tomorrow to get in contact with the consular general. And what we intended doing, not only writing them, but to summon him to our kingdom to come and explain the presence of the said individuals and his credentials. Who is he? From what tribe is he? What connection does he have with the Nguni South people of South Africa? What claim does he have, if any, with the Eastern Cape province in South Africa? Those are the questions that we shall put forward to the Consular General of Nigeria through that protocol, Collie.
Yeah, all right, because the government of the Eastern Cape has also not been quiet. On the channel here, we spoke to the MEC of Cooperative Governance in the Eastern Cape, Zolile Williams. Just have a listen to him quickly before we end the conversation.
If you look at what the Igbo community has done, is to actually work against the spirit and letter of the law and actually attempt a coup d'etat in King Vululwande's jurisdiction, because where they claim chiefdom is in another kingdom's jurisdiction. So in terms of the law, that is grossly illegal and is against the spirit and letter of the law, and therefore is an insult to the kingdom of Amachachabe.
So let's conclude our conversation, Advocate Mpatla. So beyond consulting the Nigerian consulate in South Africa to determine the status of this individual in the first place, what other steps ought to follow in order for foreign nationals who are in South Africa, and some of them might be here legally so, what steps ought to be taken in order for there to be respectful coexistence between people? Because this could once again ratchet up this whole notion of xenophobia simply because of a behavior of a few. What lessons should be drawn here, and perhaps what stringent steps ought to be taken against these people? Because you may find that he's probably here legally, but what he then does, because he probably sees that there is a larger and larger community of Nigerians, and in particular this Igbo tribe that's growing in South Africa, they then see the need to almost legitimize themselves in this way. What is it that is going to be done by traditional councils such as yours to try and make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Only you would note that in this situation we're confronted with, although your previous commentators or speakers have had maybe a soft approach to this, so others are calling it an invasion, or others are calling it disrespect. It's an act of terror. It's a conquest. It's an attempt to annex a province of another country as a province of Nigeria. That's unbecoming. And then secondly, the further conduct of this matter will be determined by how the Consular General or the Embassy of Nigeria in South Africa, because they've been silent and we've been watching as watching throughout this whole week, whether there's going to be...
The Royal House expressed concern over what it views as a potentially unauthorized use of traditional customs and symbols, warning that such actions risk undermining established cultural protocols and leadership structures. In response, the Abathembu leadership has indicated that it will formally raise the matter with the Nigerian consulate, seeking clarity on the circumstances surrounding the alleged coronation and whether it had any official backing. Senior Royal Advisor Advocate Matthew Mpalwa weighed in on the controversy, stressing the importance of respecting traditional authority and due process. He noted that the recognition and installation of traditional leaders are governed by specific cultural and legal frameworks, and any deviation from these norms can lead to tensions within communities. The situation continues to draw public attention, with calls for transparency and accountability as authorities and traditional institutions work to address the matter.